Hi, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and I wanted to make a video for all the tarot beginners out there who are just starting to learn how to read tarot and who maybe feel overwhelmed and confused about what the next step is. I know that there's so many different decks out there, there's so many different books, and there's all different, beliefs and superstitions and approaches to tarot that it can be really easy to get confused and overwhelmed. So I want to outline my my 6 steps to learning the tarot. So step number 1 is get yourself a really good tarot deck. Now I recommend the Universal Weight Tarot. Any Rider-Waite tarot deck will do. There's all different versions of the Rider-Waite deck. There's the Radiant Rider-Waite, there's, this is the Universal Weight, there's just the classic standard Rider-Waite, and they're basically all the same deck. The main difference is just that the coloring is a little bit different in each version. So I love the Universal Weight Tarot, and this is like your sort of standard classic tarot deck. So if you can learn to read with these cards, you can pretty much learn any deck after that. But this is a really good basis to start from when you're learning the tarot. Now actually I'll show you what the cards look like in case you don't know. So they're very simple drawings. They're very simple, they're fairly easy to understand. You know, each card kind of tells a story. So I highly recommend getting this deck to start with. Now, step number 2, get yourself a really good tarot book. Now, there's tons of tarot books, out there that you can buy. And actually, when you get your tarot deck, most tarot decks come with a little white book, and it's just a little flimsy kind of pocket guide, and it will have, an explanation description of each card. The little white book can be handy in a pinch, but if you're serious about learning the tarot, you're going to want to get yourself a proper book. Now, I highly recommend A Magical Course in Tarot by Michelle Morgan. I got this book when I was just learning, and I love it. I think it's a fabulous book. I really like her approach to tarot. She has a very fun, lighthearted approach, and I just love the way she describes the cards and how she talks about learning the tarot. I find a lot of tarot books can be very academic, very almost intellectual, and they can be kind of bogged down with like so much information. And the thing about this book is that it's not like that. It's light, it's fun, but it's packed with like really valuable stuff. So yeah, she covers, the tarot card meanings, working with spreads, and developing your intuition, and much, much more in this book. Another really great book is Learning the Tarot by Joan Bunning. And this book, it's packed with information. So it's a little more dense than The Magical Course in Tarot. And I think if you're more of an analytical kind of person, you probably prefer this book. So she goes into great detail here about each tarot card. She talks about spreads, how to formulate good questions when you're doing tarot card readings, basically everything that you really kind of need to know when you're first learning tarot. So this is a really, again, an excellent resource. If you have some extra money, I would say buy both books. I think they're both really excellent. My favorite is the Magical Course in Tarot, just because it's, there's something about this book that makes it feel like tarot is fun and easy, and that you can do it. Like, it has that kind of, leaves you with that feeling. But both books are really excellent. Okay, so step number 3, don't get overwhelmed. So I already mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And once you start learning about tarot, you realize there's so much to learn. There's tarot spreads, there's the court cards, there's, connecting with your psychic and intuitive abilities, there's clearing your deck. There's all this stuff, that you feel like you have to learn. And I just want to say that you will probably never ever be able to truly master the tarot. For myself, the more I study tarot and the more I learn, the more I realize that there's even more to learn. And you can go deeper and deeper and deeper with tarot and never really feel like you've totally mastered it. So don't start your tarot studies with this idea that you're going to totally master the tarot and learn everything there is to ever know about tarot, because it's just not going to happen. So just let that notion go. And I think that alone will help you to not feel so overwhelmed by learning tarot. Step number 4, go to my website and get my free download. It's called How to Read Tarot Cards with Love, Light, and Intuition, and it's a 10-minute tutorial that walks you through giving yourself a 1-card tarot reading. So it's an audio download, so you can listen to it with headphones, and it will take you through all the basics like clearing your deck, clearing your mind, getting into that kind of reading zone, and then it will walk you through all the different steps to reading your card and getting guidance. So I designed that download for total beginners, so you don't need to know anything about tarot to benefit from it. But if you're a seasoned tarot reader, I think you'll also find something valuable in there as well. Okay, and then the next step is, again, go to my website and print off my tarot meanings cheat sheet. So this is a list of all the tarot card meanings, and it's just sort of keywords for each tarot card. Now, if you're studying tarot, you know that there's more to the tarot cards than just keywords, but it's kind of nice to have a cheat sheet on hand when you're giving readings, so you can just kind of quickly refer to it. Okay, so step number 5 is make your own tarot journal. Now, this is so much fun. I loved doing this when I first started studying tarot. So you can just go to the dollar store, and you don't need to get anything fancy. So I just got this cheap, crappy notebook, and you can get something nicer. Like, I also got this at the dollar store. I think it was a little more than $1, like $2 or something. But this is like a hardcover notebook, and it's got really nice pages inside. And what you want to do is you want to dedicate a page to each tarot card. So you can just write the tarot card name at the top, and if you're artistic, you can draw the tarot card on the other side, or you can print out an image from the internet and paste it there if you like. But basically, your tarot journal is your space to journal about each tarot card and write about the impressions you get from each tarot card. You can write down some keywords, but it's basically your space to kind of make a personal connection with your tarot cards. Now, I've written an article on my website about how to make your own tarot journal, and again, I'm going to put the link in the About section of this video. So all the stuff that I talk about in this video, if you just click the link in the About section, that's going to take you to a page on my site that will have everything that I've talked about in this video. Okay, so another thing I want to say about making your own tarot journal, it can be really fun to approach each tarot card as if each card has a special personal message for you. So you can do this even if you know nothing about tarot. So just spend some time looking at each card and ask yourself, okay, if this card has a personal message for me, what would that be? And then you can write about it in your tarot journal. Step number 6, learn the tarot card meanings. Now, it's interesting because there's 2 schools of thought in the tarot community. One school of thought says, you really need to master the basics, like learning the tarot card meanings before you start giving readings, because that is your, foundation. You've got to learn that first. And then the other school of thought says, don't worry about learning the tarot card meanings. Just, go with your intuition and just play around with the cards and, make up your own meanings for the cards. And there isn't really, I don't feel like there's, a right or wrong way to approach the tarot cards. So go with the approach that feels right for you right now. One fun thing, though, that you can do if you haven't started studying the tarot card meanings is you can use your tarot journal to write down what your first initial impressions are of each tarot card and what you think the traditional meaning is. And then when you study the meanings, you can go back and you can compare notes. So you can compare, what you came up with and what your book says about that card. And that can be a really fun exercise to do when you're learning tarot. Okay, so learning the tarot meanings can feel overwhelming, again, because there's 78 tarot cards, so it's easy to feel overwhelmed by that. So don't feel like learning the tarot card meanings is this big, heavy task. It isn't. Have fun with it. Learning tarot should feel it should feel like an adventure. You want to feel like you're exploring this whole new world, this whole new terrain. So don't feel like it's this like really tiresome task of having to memorize the meanings. You're going to want to check out my video. It's called 7 Tips for Learning the Tarot Card Meanings, and it's basically just 7 different approaches that you can take to understanding the cards and memorizing their meanings. Again, the link to that's going to be in the About section of this video. So best of luck. Learning tarot is so much fun, and once again, don't get overwhelmed and don't take it too seriously, because it's really a journey. It's an adventure. And whatever you do, don't try to focus too much on the end result. The learning process is so much fun, so enjoy it. And you're going to want to check out my site, dailytarotgirl.com. I've got all kinds of tips and resources there for you if you're learning. And again, if you click on the link in the About section of my video, or the link that's in the top left-hand corner of my video, it will take you to a page on my site that also has other resources for beginners, like learning how to read a tarot card intuitively, how to develop your intuition, and how to connect with your deck, because that's another thing you're going to want to do, especially when you get a new deck, is you're going to want to bond with your deck and kind of make that energetic connection so that your readings are really good and really solid. So once again, best of luck on your tarot journeys, and I know that you're going to make a fabulous tarot reader.